What's up, folks? Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about what angle you need to be fishing at. A lot of us are really getting the habit of going out there and just kind of randomly making what we call fan casts, just kind of casting all over the place. You know, I do it. We all do it from time to time, and sometimes that is the deal. You just kind of need to make fan casts in a certain area and you're going to catch fish. But oftentimes that's not going to be the case. Most of the time it's going to be what angle you're fishing is going to help you catch a lot more fish. So this video we're going to talk about how to fish with the right types of angles and the right types of conditions to help you get more bites. So stay tuned. All right, so let's start off with inshore fishing, fishing up next to the bank. It doesn't matter what structure you're fishing, whether you're fishing a dock or a brush pile or you're fishing a grass line that's up shallow, really it's all going to be the same. The key to all your success here is going to be to fish as most parallel to these structures as you can. Now, there's definitely going to be days when pitching directly to the bank, pulling it directly back to you is going to be the deal. Those are usually going to be in your transition periods when the fish are suspended. And the reason you're going to catch them better like that is because you're pulling that bait through mid-water column. It's really hard to keep your bait in the zone if you don't get up right next to your structure or you're not making casts that are parallel to that structure, whatever it is, whether it's a dock, it's a grass line, it's a rock line, it's a ledge. It does not matter what you're fishing. Find out where the hard lines are to that structure and envision casting your bait and getting the most time you can down that structure. And then work, least path or, work your smaller zones, right? So you're going to start off at the most parallel point and then maybe start making angular casts where you're getting a little lesser and a little lesser. So that's not an exact science, right? So keep that in mind. It's not necessarily that if you cast perpendicular to a bank, parallel to a bank, parallel to a dock, you're always going to get the bite. Sometimes, that little angle change can change the difference. But I promise you, if you're casting more parallel and you're getting more time in that strike zone where those fish actually are, you're going to catch a lot more fish. So that's how you're going to fish anything inshore. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it, whether it's a dock, it's a rock pile, a rock ledge, or just a regular ledge, a grass edge. It does not matter what it is, guys. Just try to keep your bait in the zone the longest you can. The best way you can do that is position yourself parallel. So, keep that in mind. If you're in a bank, get completely parallel. Do not be afraid to get right up next to the bank and cast directly down the bank. I do that a lot of times in the kayak. If you can do it in a boat, get up as tight to that bank as you can. Get up next to bluff walls, get up next to break walls, whatever it is, and cast directly parallel to them. I promise you're going to start getting more bites. So let's go to the next tip of the video. All right, tip number 2, we're going to be talking about offshore. It does not matter what type of offshore structure we're fishing. You're going to fish it essentially in 2 types of ways in most cases. Again, angles are going to be everything, but for me, the first way I'm going to fish a piece of offshore structure is I'm going to find the shallower side to that structure wherever I'm fishing, because keep in mind, you're offshore, so you're going to have a 360-degree range around these places in almost every situation that you can set up your boat or your kayak. If you're fishing from the bank, it's going to be the same deal, except for with the bank, you're always going to be fishing in the first way I'm going to recommend, which is uphill. So find the shallower side. So think about this. You found a brush pile offshore, right? It's right off of a main lake point. You're going to get up on the bank, closest to that bank as you can, and you're going to cast out to that brush pile. The reason you're going to do that is percentage of time in the zone. So just like when you're fishing parallel, when you're fishing up shallow, the whole deal here is if you're fishing uphill, that bait is forced to be down the whole time because you're pulling it into the side of that hill. Think of it that way. When you're out deeper and you're pulling it away, again, that's going to be key sometimes, which is the second way I'll fish it. If fish are suspended, you'll go out deep, or if those fish are really feeding up a lot more, you go out deep and you fish it downhill, and then that bait is naturally going to be pulling up off of the bottom, right? So you're going to get naturally those more suspended fish. So really a lot of it comes down to how the fish are set up that day. I've had other videos where I talk about whether it's overcast or whether it's sunny and how they set up. You should definitely go back and check that out. But really, it all comes down to, at the end of the day, where those fish are set up. But for me, the first way I'm always going to fish it is I'm going to fish it on the shallow side. I'm going to be on the shallow side set up, and I'm going to be casting out deep, and I'm going to be working myself uphill. I did really good in a Bassmasters event on PK like this. I almost won an event on Canyon Lake like this. Did pretty good at Choke Canyon like that. And these are all, recent this year. And so, for me, it was kind of a pattern that I started picking up, quite honestly, more this year than I have ever before. But it's consistently paid off across different lakes across Texas, which tells me that it's just a hard factor, right? And the same thing with going out deep and working out, downhill. Had that workout on several different lakes. That's more of a very specific situation, though. That's when the fish are suspended. That's usually kind of in your transition times. It can be during the middle of the year, so there's no hard, fast rule of fishing. We all know that, especially guys that fish a lot and guys and gals that fish a lot. We know there's no hard, fast rule to any of this. But generally speaking, it's going to come down to the fact that those fish are going to be tight to that structure. You're going to want to stick next to that structure, whether it's shallow or whether it's deep. Those two tips are going to help you keep tighter to that structure and get more bites. I hope you get out there and catch more fish, catch you some monsters. If you don't have some good sunglasses, go get you some Waterlands, And if y'all need some discount codes, I've got those down in the subscription for you so you can get 15% off all this apparel from either one of those companies. Really appreciate y'all's support, guys. If y'all would drop a like on this video, really appreciate that. Comment, let me know what you think about the video. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments as well. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks, folks. Stay fishing.